Stop scrolling for a minute and remember this. I have the best guest on today. My name's Carolyn Wellman. This is Words for Winning, and I have Benney the coach. Oops. It is live after all. This is his book. His name is Geraint. Oh, I know I'm butchering it. Geraint Benney. We're just going to call him Benney the coach. And he wrote a fantastic book called Life's a Bitch, because ain't it sometimes? We were just talking about that because we had technical issues before we started, and that's how it is in life. But that's what you do, because his subtitle, A Brief Guide on Dealing with It. Isn't that the truth?
Totally. It's that's I couldn't have thought of a better name for it, really. I was sitting down thinking, well, what is it? Life is a bitch to everyone.
Well, I do say that to people. I say life is hard for everybody. It's just a different hard.
Yeah, it is. And it's how we react to it. If we react in a negative way, then it's going to become more negative, because that's all we're going to see. But if we react in a positive way and go, right, okay, learn something from what you just, been through, and go on your next adventure.
It is. Life is an adventure, isn't it?
Totally.
Just even going live is an adventure. And it's really funny. And I was saying before we went live, we have to remember that life is like a movie, because if we went to Indiana Jones and all he did was, get up and have his coffee and go to work and then come home and watch some telly and go to bed, no one would want to watch that film. Yet when those crazy things happen to us, we're like, no, it's not supposed to happen that way. It's supposed to be like the smooth ride. And no, that's not.
No, it isn't. It isn't. It is. Once I'd realised that myself, it took me a long time. Don't get me wrong. It took me a long time to realise it. But when I did, it was like, right, life is a game. It's how you play it. It's how you play the game.
Right? That's why you've had some quotes in here. And I thought, he's channeling a little bit of me and he's channeling a little bit of Helene, because you did say life was a game. Well, her book is the Name It and Claim It game, because it is a game. And she's not the only one to use game in the title. Florence Scovel Shinn called Life's a Game and How to Play It.
Totally. And we may create our own. If we don't create our own rules to that game, then life will create the rules for us. And usually it's cruel. Do you know what I mean? So, it's do it on our own terms. That's what the book's mainly about. Is you can be anything you want. You can do it on your terms.
Yes. And the other quote that I loved, because I don't just do Words for Winning. I'm also the contest queen. And I said, my title of my first book was You Can't Win If You Don't Enter. And you said in your book, you got to be in it to win it. I'm like, we are kindred souls here, because we're speaking the same language. Now, what I'd like to do is show people, I would like to go through the chapter list, because it's really good. This book is I went, after I finished it, I went on, gave it a great review, because what I liked about it,
thank you,
was it was quick and easy to read. You didn't add a lot of fluff. You made it really simple for people to understand the concepts that you were trying to impart. And it's a really good deal. I got it on my Kindle. I love my Kindle, because you can have hundreds of books and they take no space. So the chapter 1's Life's a Bitch. Yeah, we already know that, but it's how we face it. 2, self-belief. 3, fear. My boyfriend George always likes to say, I think Jen Cadfield coined it, false evidence appearing real.
Yeah, totally.
Now, this is one thing that I've been working on for the past year. All things meditation. I've been meditating. Right. It has made a difference. I'd like to do it more regular. That's what I'm working on now, is a daily practice versus sporadic. Affirmations, which I love, because you have to think you're a winner and feel like a winner before you are.
Yeah.
All you need is love. Oh, the warm and fuzzy chapter. what if, now that's such a fun game to play, because people always say to me, well, I never win. Well, what if you did?
Yeah, they always use what if in a negative things. Oh, well, what if that happens? What if that happens? Well, instead of that is, oh, what if that happens? What if that happens? It's just a change of mood, isn't it? Really?
Right?
Change of attitude. And
Why does it have to be negative? And
why
then
does it have to be?
gratitude, like, I'm so thankful you came on my show.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, by the way, if anybody hasn't figured it out, he's my first guest on my new channel.
I'm honoured, and thank you very much for having me as your first guest.
New things, because that's what life is. It's an adventure. Look and feel amazing. Well, just look at us. I mean, come on. Don't give up, because you won't climb the mountain if you stop halfway. So,
Yeah.
and you can tell by the titles of the chapters that you hit on some very important points. And I'd like to talk about how you came to write this really concise book that just covers all the things we need to do to have a successful life.
Initially, it was a book. It started off something like this, and it was a rule book for me, how to live my life. I'd been through quite a difficult period in my life, and I was lucky enough to get the help that I needed. And I retrained as a counsellor, as a talking therapist. But it's hard to keep on that, unless you've got a meaning in life, so things to work towards, things to look forward to. It's hard to keep going every day. So I made a little book of things for myself, a rule book for me to go by. And a few friends of mine who I used to carry around with me to just remind me what I needed to do. And people are like, oh, what are you reading there? I'm like, nothing, it's mine. Look at that. And they're like, all right, okay. And they were like, well, this is quite good. You should turn this into a book. Because it was as if I was keeping a diary kind of thing as well, of just, and because I'm an entertainer, that's what I do. So it was just something I was playing with, and I thought, well, if it's helping me, maybe it could help somebody else. And that was the idea behind it all. That's why I trained as a counsellor, was to try and help people. And I thought, well, go on then, I'll make it into a book. And I put it, it's as I speak, as you can tell by the the writing in there. If you hear my voice, you'll hear me. I'm told you hear me in the book. So it's a very personal book as well. It's what's the thing that's helped me become who I am today, and hence then I went off and wrote my new book.
Yes, I didn't mention that. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
I only have your first book. He just launched, and I'll let you pitch it. You pitch it.
I'm going to say I can come back for a second goal and pitch that one.
But this one is Spirituality for Blokes.
Spirituality for Blokes, yeah.
And I think that's a great title, because I work with different metaphysical teachers, and the audiences are 80, 90% women. And
yeah,
I think more men are starting to figure out that we all need this, not just women.
Totally. I work as a talking therapist in the local doctor surgeries in around my area and in around the valleys. And I speak to lots of, men, having issues. And, I always, and I'm like, lack of belief, there's something, so... but they're already interested in asking me questions. Oh, do you know anything about this? Or do you know anything about that? And so they're kind of waking up to spirituality, and it's like, but there's nothing there for them to grab hold of. So I thought, niche. There's a niche. I found a niche. let's take advantage of a niche. No, in all seriousness, it was again how I discovered spirituality. It's a very simple read. It's just like the first one. It's no fluff. It is what it is, and it's not. You're not going to become a guru or meet God after reading it, but it's to help you start your journey really, and give you just a basic guidance on that journey. It's up to you then what you make it. So it's just a basic guidebook, I suppose.
I read a book a long time ago, and the author in the beginning said, this book is like a buffet. You don't have to eat everything. You just take your plate and go along and pick up what you need and what's going to work for you and how much of this you want, how much of that you want. And that's it. So you might not basically resonate with some, and some stuff you're thinking, how did I not have this in my life before this? What I liked about this, I almost wish I'd had your book before I went through my dark night. That's what everybody gets one.
Yeah.
Or more.
Or more, and still do, and still used to be. We always will. It's just learning how to deal with it, isn't it?
I think it gets, for me, and I'm assuming you, it gets easier as you go along because you are practicing these techniques.
Yeah.
And so it's like learning how to swim or surf or something. So when the waves come, you can you're better at navigating them. It doesn't stop the waves.
No, it doesn't stop the
waves. But
waves.
You get better at dealing with them.
Yeah.
Until you can get to the point where you're actually riding them versus them smashing you down.
Yeah, and I can't swim. You know what I mean? I can't swim, so I don't enjoy that at all.
That's so funny. That's my favorite thing when I was younger, and I used to take my daughter when she was little, and we go wave jumping. So just right at the shore when they come in, you smash into them and you get a face full of seawater, and it was just always so fun. But you have to hold the little one's hands because it could be dangerous.
Yeah, give them a wipe out of the
place. But that's kind of what you're doing. You're holding people's hands with this book as they're hitting those waves. And so let's go through it a little bit.
Yeah.
And you had a dark night and you wanted to help. So you came up with your own navigation system.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to share it because for sure there's other people that need a navigation system.
Exactly.
And it's nice and concise, and it's very specific. There's a lot of books that will deal with just affirmations, or just how to overcome fear, or what is like their whole book is on one topic, where you've kind of condensed it and made it almost a to-do list.
Yeah, it's an accessible to-do list.
So let's walk through, like, you had your own dark night and you came up with your book, but how did you start writing? Like, what was the impetus and what made you start tracking it? And then, because we know the end, your friend says, oh, you got to make this book.
Yeah.
But how did you figure out, basically every chapter is something you learned on your journey. So how did you, like, share with us that path? I know it might not be a pretty path.
Wow. It's, well... as I said, I sort of always suffered with my mental health since I was at a really young age, and I was sort of, I fitted in, but I didn't. If you know what I mean. I didn't fit in normal jobs. It wasn't for me. Do you know what I mean? School.
Yeah, because I'm the exact same way.
Yeah, school was just as bad. But I got on. I was getting on, but I just I just felt different to the world, and then I became an entertainer, and I found where I was. That's what I am. I always had been, but never actually realised that I was. If you know what I mean. And so I embarked on the life of an entertainer. So I'd always seen the world as an act.
Oh, yes. Doesn't Shakespeare say that? Yeah. All the worlds are stage and the men are merely players? Yeah. Again, name it and claim it game.
And it's without even realising I was doing this, I'd reinvent myself every now and again. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
That's the way that it went. And then it was like, right, hang on, if I can change from that to that, then when I'm in this space right now, I can change myself again into something greater, but learn the lessons. And that's where the book really came from, was all of that. It was my lessons that I'd realised that I already had, and I'd been using for years and giving them away to the world for nothing. I had control of all of that, my happiness and my sadness. And
Wait, stop right there. That's important because nobody talks about that. They always talk about you are in control of your happiness. Nobody talks. You're also in control of your sadness.
Oh, totally. We can either dwell in it, or we can learn a lesson and move on and show that we are stronger, and it'll make us stronger. Or we can sit around with it as a blanket around us, and and it is hard. It really is hard, but we have one responsibility in this world, and that's to live it. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's not going to be given to us. We've got to go out there and we've got to take every opportunity we can. And we don't have to be an idiot. We can be a nice person, and it's about giving service to the world. If you give service out, it's not about getting it back, but you will get it back, but you get it back in loads. But it's about just being nice to the world and having a belief in something, and that's yourself. It always starts with you being in love with yourself, really. And
that's a point. And I know when I went through my dark night, and my divorce was very hard, and I cried a lot. But I also did it because I kind of did have it on as a bit of a blanket, in the sense of I knew I had to get it out of me, so that I could heal. It's a little crass, but I always equate it to pus coming out of a wound. The wound won't heal unless all that gunk comes out. Feel free to use that in your next book.
Yeah, no, you have. You've got to deal with it, and you've got to heal it as well. Like,
right,
you can't wake up in the morning and go, right. You've got to make sure you're healed. Otherwise, you're going to get halfway down the road, and then you'll be back to square one again.
So I would cry and figure, and in my head, I'm like, okay, this is all coming out so that it can heal proper and be clean and get it out. So I would just kind of. I think the expression is go through it to get over it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the expression? So I just kind of leaned into it, because I felt like if I fought it and put on that fake, oh, everything's fine. Yeah. It just stuffs it down further, and then it's going to rear its ugly head.
Yeah, and it can rear as bitterness and so many ugly things. So it's just easier to look after it first, and then let it go to the universe.
That's what I did. It took a while too. That's the other thing. People want instant healing, instant this, instant that. We have, and I think it's gotten worse as technology has advanced, because we can open up our phone and order something and it's here tomorrow, or I can just order some food online and in 30 minutes it's here.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously quick. And then when healing takes years, it's not an instant.
It's not.
It's not an instant.
If only we could just pour warm water on it and drink out of the cup of healing. Yeah, no, it does take a long time. But I think it's a journey worth taking, because you learn about yourself, and that's the good thing to take out.
But that's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's the whole point of why we incarnate as humans, is we want the experience.
Yeah.
All of the experience, because we have all of the emotions. We want to feel all the feels, and then. It's kind of like going on a roller coaster, right? It goes up and it goes down and it turns and it twists and things. And the ride, you go, wow, that was amazing.
It totally is. It is, as you said earlier, it's like a film script. So you can either sit down and say, right, this is it. Nobody really wants to sit down and write, right, okay, I'm gonna write this script for you, and it's gonna turn out really bad for me. Everything's gonna go wrong. And it's gonna. Nobody would sit down and do that. Everyone, as you said, everyone wants to be the hero. So write your script as you being the hero, and you can do what you want. It's only us stopping us doing what we ever want to do.
I'm just gonna make sure that in my adventures, I don't have boulders coming at me or native arrows when I steal the gold, or any of those crazy or Tom Cruise, hanging on the side of a
Yeah,
plane.
yeah,
No,
no,
thank
too
you.
old
I'm
for
not
that.
going to write that.
I'm too old for that.
He's
I jumped
my
out of
age
an
and he
aeroplane
still does
last
all
year.
that crazy stuff.
I know. I jumped out of an aeroplane last year. That was I enjoyed that. I would do it again.
I had the opportunity to do that, and I said no, thank
Oh,
you.
honestly, you should do it. It is life changing, genuinely life changing.
Really, I'm terrified.
No, well, yeah, there is, but there's that fear and pain and pleasure kind of thing that it's to jump out of the plane is the hardest part. You go, but once you're floating, well, you're floating or plummeting. You're floating down. and you realize how small you are really to the landscape and that you were sort of flying down to, and it's amazing just to have that experience, and it gives us a bit of a reality check of, all right, okay, I am a part of all of this, like, and if I get down here and get land, I'm gonna change things.
Was it a tandem jump?
Yes, thankfully.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I could have pulled it out. My arms were doing a little bit more of that than that.
Yeah, I know there's some people that do it. We had a mayor in a town like a few over from us, and she was mayor like for 30 years because everyone loved her. She was dynamic. She lived to I think 103. I think when she turned 100, she went and parachuted because she hadn't done that yet.
That's incredible.
Yeah, she didn't stop, and that's how I plan on aging. I plan on being like Hazel. And it's such an old-fashioned name, right? Well, she was born over 100 years ago. And she just didn't let anything stop her. And I think that's what you're trying to impart in this book is, things happen, but life is, Robert Ohotto says, fate is the cards you are dealt. Destiny is how you play them.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what it comes out as in the end. Is that I discovered the law of attraction while I was on my journey, and things like that, and sort of I'd always believed in something, but I never really been sure what it was, if you know what I mean, in the world, whether it would be God or something, and I'd always looked to science then to try and make sense of it all. So, and when I came around to looking at sort of quantum physics and things like that, and it was like, well, all of this stuff, it's all saying the same things. We have control of our destinies, basically. It's and that's my overall belief in the end is we have control. It is a game, so write it good, write it bad, just try and make it a bestseller.
I like that idea. I'm just going to give you a third book idea. Just because you probably don't have enough to do. But I think that would be a good book if you wrote one on you were in control of your destiny. It's a good working title, but it's not a good selling title. But something along the lines of you're controlling your happiness and you're controlling your sadness. And if you wrote a book on that, I think that would be really good because we're just finding you a new niche. We're workshopping it while we're live.
Order your copy now. Advance on Amazon.
I've written quite a few books. I don't put anything on in advance because things happen. And if there's a delay, Amazon just frowns on that. So I'm like, no, when I have a finished book, that's when Amazon sees it. I've drafted a few, like I've started the process and I put in, the title and the description and stuff. And I'm waiting on the final product to hit, go. But I will never hit for pre-sale. Never. I've learned my lesson. And, it's much better that way, but you can always start to draft stuff, and it's easy. Like when I started, it was so difficult to self-publish, and now if you can figure out the formatting in Word and PDF it and have a good graphics guy to do the cover, because I mean, well, you put your gorgeous face on your cover. But you know, find somebody to do a good book cover,
Yeah.
and then go. That's it. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Have the confidence to do it, whether it's, you know, whether it's a self-help book or whether it's not your novel that suddenly you wrote. Put it out there. You know, it's, you got nothing to lose. So if you sell one copy, then somebody in the world has just read your book.
You know what? This is very important. And actually, I heard a creator, Jenna Warner, and she had this video on TikTok. I love TikTok, which is where I found you. If you don't already follow him as Benney the Coach on TikTok, what are you waiting for? Head over there. And I think you're the same. You're the same on Instagram, correct?
Yeah, on across all platforms. Yeah, Benney the Coach.
I don't do Instagram as much. I just love my TikTok. But Jenna said, imagine you're having a party and you're planning on 30 people, and you set the table and you cook all the food, and 5 people show up. And you go, yeah, nobody came. I can't believe nobody came. How would those 5 people that were there feel?
Yeah.
So if you are helping literally 1 or 2 people with your book, that is amazing. Because you don't know where it'll ripple out to.
No, exactly. You know, and it's that's the idea behind it. It's not about becoming a famous author, or it's just been having. It would help, you know. But
famous TikToker.
Famous TikToker. It's just about it's because it helped me. I thought, well, why not put it out there? And if it helps one person, then that's I've achieved something. I've achieved something, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. Is just trying to give back to the world,
I think it's fantastic, and I just loved it. And it's also the advice is the other thing that I really liked about your book was the advice was simple, concise, and easy to follow, because some people, when they start to read, will label it a self-help book or something to help them out of their doldrums, or, you know, shift along this path.
Yeah.
Some of the books can be quite overwhelming, whereas this one, because it's simple, it's a good first step for someone to start taking your advice and just change something small. I think it's, I'll equate your book to one of those diet books where they say, you know, don't change your whole diet immediately, because you'll just be like, you know, you'll have headaches from no caffeine and your body will be craving sugar. No, today you're going to switch from salad dressing to olive oil and lemon. And tomorrow you're going to add in 1 extra piece of fruit. And the next day, and if you just do it in bits, pretty soon all the negative stuff is gone, because you've just been adding in all the positive. So if you go through your book and literally just start 1 piece at a time.
Yeah, it's a guidebook, isn't it? You know, and that's I have a list of new books to do now, because because I want to do an update on Life's
a diet book for your soul.
Yeah.
Just saying, another workshop. You know, I'm gonna have to have you back when you're having like book 4 and book 5, because I'm prodding you to go out and write some more. That's the other thing I liked, was it was easy to read. It was like a layman's book.
Yeah, I got I got dyslexia, and so sitting down and reading a book can be quite hard work for me sometimes. I love reading, but unless it's really catching my imagination, I've got to read things 2 or 3 times really for it to actually sink in. So writing something, I wanted something that I'm not going to get bored with after 5 minutes, because I've covered. Oh right, okay, I get that, and it gives me something to think about as well as I'm going along. So it's not just reading about something. It's giving people something to think about as they're going along.
Well, I'm going to prod you a little further. I just finished my first Audible book, and you have a lovely voice because we love the Brogue, especially over here across the pond. We could listen to you all day. I think it's one of the reasons I caught your videos. I was like, ooh, the voice. You could make this would be a great Audible book.
Yeah, it's in the works. It's in the works. Yeah, it's a good friend of mine. He does audiobooks himself, and he's said to me a few times, "Oh, you need to come and do the book." And I'm going, "No, God, you do it." And he was like, "No." He said, "It's got to be
you have to do it. It has to be you." And you know what? Your energy goes into it, and people hear your voice. I was going to hire a narrator to do Helene's books, and everyone said to me, "No, she entrusted you.
Yeah.
You have to do it." And I'm going to tell you the same thing. These are your books.
Yeah.
You have to.
With my voice, yeah.
It has to be your voice. And I think, like, I've listened to other audiobooks and I was like, wow, this guy's so smooth. And then I found out it was somebody else narrating. And I'm like, no, I wanted to hear the author.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear some professional narrator. Not that he didn't have a gorgeous voice. Of course, being a professional narrator, but it wasn't the same. I wanted to hear the author.
Yeah, and I love listening to audiobooks as well. And that's one of the things that annoys me sometimes, is that it's not the original author doing it. So yeah, within by Christmas, the both of them should be done by Christmas.
Oh, that's very exciting. Yeah, I will share those.
Yeah, so I'm quite excited. It's taken a while, but now that both books are done, it's like, right, come on, we go in, do the both over a week's period, hopefully, and then it's just edit them and then get them out there.
You know what we'll do? We'll do a joint giveaway, because something I discovered, when you have an Audible book, they give you promo codes so you can give away a few copies.
Right.
So I'm not only the author of Helene's books, but I'm also known as the contest queen, or in your case, the competition queen, because you're from the UK.
Yeah.
And we'll host a giveaway with a few of those codes, and we'll give away some of your audiobooks. How fun is that going to be?
That'd be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome.
And I didn't announce it before because, of course, I've been so busy. I didn't even think about it. Hello, I'm going to give people away. I'm going to give away some of your book. That's just for me. On Kindle, I'll just send you can either send a Kindle, or some countries I discovered you can't send a Kindle as a gift to somebody. So I'll just send you the dollar value on an Amazon card and you can go buy it. And I'll give away a few copies of. How do I get back to your cover? I want to show the cover again. Oh, here. Oh, wait, here's another good picture of you. There you go.
It was taken by my son.
It's quite good.
And I'm actually standing inside a boxing ring. As I do boxing announcing, so it was a picture that he'd taken while I caught me unaware while I was announcing the boxing.
Oh, that's why it's so good, because it's a natural photo.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll do a blog tomorrow, and I'll give away some of your books.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind.
Yeah, well, I want other people to read it. Because it is good. Because, let's face it, even the fun stuff, sometimes you still have to deal with it.
Yeah, it is. Life's a bitch, is how we deal with it, isn't it? It totally is.
I find with technology, that's where I have some of my stresses. I'll be going along and I do the web page, and then something like goes weird. I'm like, why? Why is this?
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah. I said, I do the same. I'm still like, right, okay, yeah. He's having a shit day, he's having a shit, she's having a shit day. They're all having a shit day, right? Okay, I'll be okay, right. We're all having one, right? Okay, don't take it personally. It's not real.
That's it. Don't take it personally. It's not personal.
It's not personal, no. But we all do take it personally. If somebody pulls in front of you in the car, it's like, they didn't do it personally. They probably had a bad day themselves, and they taken it out on the person in front. And if we all argue, then we'd all be in a mess.
I have seen other podcasters do this, and I think it's a wonderful way to wrap up an interview and ask a couple of questions. And the first one is,
Yeah.
what is your best advice for those watching or listening?
Be able to laugh at yourself. Be able to laugh at yourself. If you can laugh at yourself, then you can laugh at anything. Don't take yourself too seriously, really. Life is hard enough without us taking it serious as well.
That is really good advice. And I will have you back when you have the Audible books out. Oh my God, that's so exciting. And we can focus next time. We'll focus on spirituality for blokes because I didn't read it yet.
Oh, it's okay.
It literally
it's
just came out this week. How exciting.
It's like, it means like, that means like, I can come back on. So there's like another excuse to have another chat.
Another excuse. Okay, so we're going to say goodbye for now. Oh no, that's not the ending. I will let you end it because I just blew it.
And remember, keep smiling.